So Bernie Sanders decided to take off the gloves in response to Hillary Clinton's recent absurd attacks against him. And he said the following at a rally, quote, "Now, the other day, I think, Secretary Clinton appeared to be getting a little bit nervous. We have won. We have won 7 out of 8 of the recent primaries and caucuses. And she has been saying lately that she thinks that I am, quote unquote, not qualified to be president. Well, let me just say in response to Secretary Clinton, I don't believe that she is qualified. If she is, it's through her super PAC, taking tens of millions of dollars in special interest funds. I don't think you are qualified if you get $15 million from Wall Street through your super PAC. I don't think you're qualified if you have voted for the disastrous war in Iraq. I don't think you're qualified if you've supported virtually every disastrous trade agreement, which has cost us millions of decent-paying jobs. I don't think you're qualified if you supported the Panama Free Trade Agreement, something I very strongly opposed, and which, as all of you know, has allowed corporations and wealthy people all over the world to avoid paying their taxes to their countries." So he was on fire, and he was going after her, and he was super specific, and it was just policy position after policy position after policy position, where he said, "Here is why I am claiming she is unqualified." Well, what was the response from the Hillary surrogates? It was hilarious. So, Hillary's spokesman said the following: "Bernie Sanders, take back your words about Hillary Clinton." Wait, what? But they don't even bother to be like, okay, now here's why I disagree with the point you made. It's just like, my anger! How dare you take back thine words? But he gave like a million reasons. He qualified it, you know. He explained exactly why he said what he said. Take back your words. Okay, but why do you disagree with it? Just take it back. I mean, you sound like, you know, an angry parent chastising a toddler without, like, you know how they omit the reasoning oftentimes? Like, just stop! Just stop! I'm not going to tell you why, just stop! Well, the same thing is, just stop it, Bernie! Come on now! Can you please stop that? Obviously, when you run against us, you're supposed to be nice to us the entire time and not actually bring up policy disagreements. So I have more here. Michael Nutter, real name, who's a Clinton backer and a former mayor of Philadelphia, said the following: "Tonight, Bernie Sanders said Hillary Clinton wasn't qualified to be president. This is low." He put it in capital letters to show you how serious he is. "And crosses the line. Take it back, Senator! Take it back!" Is anybody gonna bother to come up with like an actual reason? You know, okay, here's why you need to take it back. Here's why you're wrong. Nobody's doing it. Now, let's understand something, and Bernie Sanders himself clarified this morning. He said, if you talk about experience, like look at the resume, is she qualified to be president? Of course. There's nobody more qualified to be president if you look at the resume. His point was the specific decisions that she made within that experience. So, yeah, you got a good resume, but let's talk about the deets, bro. Where are the details at? Well, he says, when you look at that, hey, you voted for the Iraq War. He didn't bring up the Patriot Act, but that's one of the first things that always comes to my mind when I think about disliking Hillary Clinton. He says all these disastrous free trade agreements. He says you take all this money from Wall Street, so you're going to represent those people over the will of the American public, which is a problem. So in that sense, is Hillary unqualified to be president? Fuck yeah, she's unqualified. She's basically admitting up front, because of the incentive structure of the system and how much money she's taking, well, don't really expect me to do that much for you. And she even says that sometimes in debates in more honest moments. Half the time, she pretends like she's more progressive than Bernie Sanders. LOL with me. And then the other half the time, well, come on now, Senator, pump your brakes a little bit here. We got to believe in incrementalism. And like her supporters were saying on Twitter recently, you want to give us universal health care in college? This is rainbows and unicorns. Rainbows and unicorns. Every other modern nation has these things. Rainbows and unicorns. So what she's doing is she's promising, am I going to do a lot? Probably not. But Bernie Sanders says, no, I'm going to move us in the right direction. And when I say you're unqualified, I'm not saying you don't have the experience. I'm saying the details of the decisions that you made negatively affected people. And I even go a step further than Bernie, man. If you voted for the Iraq War, an illegal war that killed minimum 200,000 civilians, in my mind, the only thing you're qualified for is jail. Progressives and liberals need to not forget their values because somebody has a D in front of their name. Oh, Hillary has a D in front of her name. Therefore, what? We give her more leeway than we would give anybody else? Think about it. Divorce this from party, divorce this from gender, divorce this from, thinking of specific politicians. If I told you, hey, this person voted for the war in Iraq. Hey, this person voted for the Patriot Act. Hey, this person voted for most of the disastrous free trade deals which shipped American jobs out of the country. Hey, this person wasn't in favor of gay marriage until 2013. That ain't that long ago. We can go down a laundry list of all of her positions. If you didn't know that it was a Democrat, and if you didn't know, that it's somebody on your team, wouldn't you say, what? No, of course I wouldn't vote for that person over somebody who has a track record of doing all the right things. But see, that's the point. The point is they don't have a logical response to Bernie saying this. So what do? They just, how dare you, Senator? Why would you say that? I want to read it again. Quote, Bernie Sanders, take back your words about Hillary Clinton. Now, do you want to actually address his argument or just wag your finger and say, bad, bad? You can't address his argument because he's right. He's not saying she's unqualified in the sense that she doesn't have the resume. Of course she has the resume. Not a single person on the planet disagrees with that. He's saying she's unqualified because of the policy position she took and the decisions that she made. Those decisions being horrible, one after the other after the other.